the 2026 Formula One title fight may have been quietly revealed in Melbourne. And the crucial clue wasn't just George Russell taking pole. It was the massive 0.3-second gap to his own teammate and a staggering 0.8-second margin to the next non-Mercedes car in Q3. That's not a normal qualifying advantage under the brand-new 2026 Aero Hybrid regulations. But the real shock came moments earlier when Max Verstappen crashed out in Q1 after a rear axle lockup, triggering a chain reaction that secretly saved Mercedes' session. Behind the chaos of red flags, debris, and a last-minute car rebuild, one terrifying reality for the grid became clear. Mercedes may have already cracked the code of the 2026 regulations. Coming into the opening round at the Australian Grand Prix, the paddock narrative was crystal clear. The early championship favorite was Russell. Winter simulations, preseason telemetry, and long-run pace all pointed to one thing. The new Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team package appeared unusually stable under the energy management-heavy 2026 rules. That theory exploded into reality during qualifying when Russell delivered a stunning 1 minute 18.518 seconds lap, dominating all three sessions. Even more impressive, his teammate Kimi Antonelli secured P2 after mechanics completed a frantic 2-hour rebuild following his massive FP3 crash. Somehow, Mercedes locked out the front row despite the chaos, but there's a catch. That front row lockout might never have happened without a dramatic incident involving Verstappen. He lost control entering turn 1 when the rear axle suddenly locked under braking, sending the car spinning across the gravel and into the barriers. The red flag that followed gave Mercedes the exact window they needed to get Antonelli onto the track for a final flying lap. What the teams aren't saying out loud is this: did that crash simply create drama, or did it expose a deeper weakness in Red Bull's 22,265 power unit energy recovery system? And if that's true, are we already watching the beginning of a power shift on the grid? Before we move on, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss out on any of our latest videos. Because what just unfolded in Melbourne might be the first domino in the most explosive F1 season of the decade. To understand why this qualifying session could reshape the 2026 championship battle, we have to start with the physics of the new regulations. The latest rule set massively increases reliance on electrical deployment and energy harvesting, meaning drivers constantly balance ERS mapping, brake-by-wire calibration, and rear axle regeneration. In simple terms, braking is no longer just about slowing the car. It's also about feeding energy back into the battery. Now here's the crucial detail. Rear axle lockups are a known side effect when harvesting levels spike too aggressively. That's exactly what appears to have happened to Verstappen. When Verstappen braked for turn 1, telemetry suggested a sudden surge in regeneration torque. The rear wheels briefly locked as the hybrid system attempted to harvest more electrical energy than the available grip allowed. Once the rear tires lost traction, the car rotated instantly at over 280 km/h, approaching the braking zone. That's catastrophic. And Verstappen's own radio message confirmed it. The car just locked on the rear axles. That sentence might be the most revealing technical clue of the entire weekend, because under the 2026 architecture, teams must carefully balance mechanical braking with hybrid regeneration. If the energy recovery map is too aggressive, the rear tires behave almost like they've been hit by a sudden handbrake. Red Bull engineers have been experimenting heavily with high harvesting modes to compensate for lower peak power from the internal combustion engine, which has been reduced under the new rules. But Melbourne exposed the downside. Now compare that to Mercedes. Russell's laps looked completely different. Watch the onboard footage carefully and you'll notice something subtle. His braking zones are smoother and longer, especially into turns 3 and 11. That suggests Mercedes is running a far more refined brake migration strategy, gradually blending mechanical braking with regeneration rather than triggering sudden spikes. The result: consistent rear stability. And consistency in this rule era equals lap time. Russell's pole lap wasn't just quick, it was methodical. Sector analysis showed he gained the majority of his advantage through clean exits and stable traction, not just top speed. That matters because Albert Park is brutal on energy management. Drivers must harvest aggressively along the back straight before deploying power through the technical middle sector. Many teams feared this would turn qualifying into what some paddock insiders called a complete energy management nightmare. Instead, Mercedes turned it into a masterclass. Now let's talk about the other bombshell, Antonelli. The Italian had crashed heavily in FP3, destroying large portions of the suspension and floor assembly. Under normal circumstances, that's the end of qualifying for most teams. But Mercedes mechanics executed an astonishing 2-hour rebuild. replacing critical aerostructures and recalibrating the suspension geometry in time for Q1. Yet, the real miracle came later. During his first Q3 run, a cooling element was still attached to the car when it left the garage, eventually detaching at turn 1 and scattering debris across the track. That forced another red flag after Lando Norris ran over the component, sending fragments exploding across the circuit. Meanwhile, Ferrari sits somewhere in the middle. Both Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton showed impressive launch simulations during preseason testing, suggesting their clutch mapping and traction control calibration could be among the best on the grid. That's why starting positions of P4 and P7 are far from harmless. If Ferrari's start line data translates to race conditions, they could easily gain multiple positions before turn 3. Then, there's another intriguing surprise: Isack Hadjar. The Red Bull rookie stunned the paddock by placing third. But the gap tells a different story. 0.8 slower than Russell. Under modern F1 qualifying standards, that margin is enormous. It suggests Mercedes isn't just slightly ahead. They may be operating in a completely different performance window, and if that's true, the political consequences inside Formula One could be huge. Because remember, the 2026 regulations were designed to compress the field and prevent one team from dominating the hybrid era again. If Mercedes has already found a fundamental advantage in energy management or rear axle stability, rival teams will push the FIA to examine the legality of those systems. We've seen this movie before. Innovations like double diffusers, DAS steering systems, and flexible wings have all triggered regulatory wars, and Mercedes has historically been the team most capable of exploiting gray areas. Another clue came from Russell himself after the session. Instead of celebrating wildly, he said something revealing. A lot of simple things like race starts and pit stops are a lot more challenging with these new cars. That line suggests Mercedes still believes the race itself will be unpredictable, especially with heavy energy harvesting zones that slow the cars dramatically on straights. Drivers were already complaining about the strange visual effect of cars appearing to run out of power mid-straight while harvesting energy. So the question becomes, if Mercedes is already this strong in qualifying, what happens once they optimize those systems for race conditions? Because development hasn't even begun yet. Every team will bring upgrades over the next 6 races. But if Mercedes truly started the season with the best understanding of the hybrid aero balance, they've already won the most important battle, the conceptual one. And that could reshape the championship before the second race even begins. So here's the question nobody in the paddock wants to answer yet. Did the Melbourne chaos simply produce a dramatic qualifying session, or did it quietly reveal that the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team has already mastered the 2026 rulebook, while rivals are still searching for answers? If Verstappen's rear axle lockup is a symptom of deeper energy management instability at Red Bull Racing, the championship fight could look very different from what we expected. But maybe the race itself will flip the script completely. What do you think? Is Mercedes about to dominate a new F1 era, or will Red Bull strike back immediately? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more explosive Formula One analysis on this channel.